Welcome back to Legalese 123, where we are covering cases across America. Hello and welcome back to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday break, enjoying time with friends and family and eating all of the yummy, yummy goodness that you created, or maybe you went out to eat. Who knows? Anyways, I had a wonderful time with my family. We played some games. Of course, I won. That's just the way that it goes, right? Anyways, before we begin, we're going to go ahead and we're going to like and subscribe, because do you know what today is? Today is December the 26th, but it is Friday Case Catch-Up. That's right. If you know my series, on Fridays, we usually do a case catch-up, but unfortunately, the past several Fridays, I haven't been able to do it because, or this, that, haven't been able to do it because we were trying to catch up in the Brian Walshe case. That was a lot. That was very intense, as well as, the holidays and family and things happening, etc. So here we are. It is Friday, December the 26th. We are going to do a case catch-up. What's a case catch-up? It is all of the cases that I've been following that you're interested in, or maybe it's some cases that you haven't even heard of. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. All right. So before we begin, let me remember this. All right, Friday Case Catch-Up. Should have like a jingle or tune for it. If you want to make one for me, let me know. All right, so the first up is Brian Walshe. Of course, as you know, Brian Walshe was found guilty of first-degree murder and in conjunction with the death of his wife, Anna Walshe. He is slated to get life without parole. Just would say life in prison without the possibility of parole. That is a mandatory sentence in Massachusetts. He also pleaded guilty to lying to the police. That's approximately 19 years. He also pled guilty to improper disposal of a body. That is 2 years. And remember his federal art fraud case where he not allegedly, he pled guilty to selling fake Andy Warhols on eBay. He got approximately 3 years in federal prison for that. So Brian Walshe is going to jail. There's not much more that we can say or we can do. So we're going to go ahead and call this one case closed. Okay, so moving on. Myles King versus Massachusetts. Myles King is indicted for first-degree murder of Marquis Simmons carrying a firearm without his license and a loaded firearm, again, without a license. This is a 2021 case. We're now in 2025, going into 2026. How is this possible? Well, in Massachusetts, again, it is the world of weirdness that cases just sort of linger until all of a sudden it's go, 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 go. And in Myles King's case, there is a lack of materials being discoverable to the defense. Rosemary Scapiccio is Myles King's attorney. Guess who's involved? Michael Proctor. And when we say that, Michael Proctor didn't turn over some information to ADA Lawley. Those names sound familiar to you. They are in the karenread case. And here we are in the Myles King case where discovery is an issue. But this case is now headed for we'll just say, many, many trial conferences coming up. Judge Krupp is the one that's still the head of this case. He currently right now is moving to civil, but he said he still wants to hear some or follow up and hear some of these things before it goes to somebody else. So there is a compliance hearing on the 12th of February at 2 p.m., a review status on the 13th, and a non-evidentiary hearing on the 3rd. What is a non-evidentiary hearing? Well, sadly, Rosemary Scapiccio had an evidentiary hearing way back when, and that unfortunately got sidestepped because Krupp didn't have enough time to go into all of the details. And then all of Proctor's texts and everything just went boom. So the first federal 2-week dump of Proctor's texts, they finally got into those. They were going to be destroyed. Rosemary Scapiccio worked tirelessly to get those. She got those. That was in October. And then now there's the new 10,000 plus messages, images, etc. from Proctor's phones that Rosemary Scapiccio finally gets a hold of. But I wanted to say something interesting. There is a new filing in Mylesking's case, and this goes into more discovery that is being given to the defense team. And in that, if you see up here, it says on the 13th of November, Trooper Matthew Dunn, body-worn camera of Trooper Dunn from November 10th of 2025. Why is there a video camera on the 10th? What happened? Did mylesking get, was there a call that went out? Who is Trooper Dunn? If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. I don't have any idea of what happened during this event and why is there body cam footage and what does it have to do with Mylesking? All right, let's continue on. Massachusetts versus Aidan Kearney. If you don't know who Aidan Kearney is connected to the Karen Read case. He is a journalist who broke a lot of stories, found out a lot of information behind the scenes that helped in the aid of Karen Read's case. So, Kearney is being accused of intimidating witnesses in the Karen Read trial, the witnesses that testified in her trial. He has gone on his YouTube presentations. He has gone out to their areas of their homes and did a rolling rally. He also intimidated the window at D&E Pizza. This case has been going on for a while as well. He's got a 23 case, I believe, and the 25 case. Finally, we're going to get some answers. As you know, the Commonwealth has been playing fast and loose with this case. They've got 2 special prosecutors on there. This prosecutor right here is Cosgrove. Cosgrove is being sued by another witness in another case that Aidan Kearney had. Cosgrove is potentially conflicted out of this case. So there's a new judge. Judge Krupp again is leaving. He's going to civil instead of criminal now. And now Judge Belezos is in his place. There is a motion for disqualification that is on January 23rd, but we do not know the time of that. And it's going to be, I believe, in Suffolk, which is not in Dedham, which again is not in the place where it was, but it's okay. Could this case finally end? If this disqualification happens and the defense gets Cosgrove kicked off this case, will there be another prosecutor in this case? We don't know. So the disqualification that is going to happen on the 26th, and then they stated that if there wasn't going to be if this didn't work, there probably wouldn't be a trial until November or December of 2026 if this goes that far. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on this case as well. Moving on, we have Karen Read civil case. This is where Paul O'Keefe and his family are suing Karen Read. This is taking place in the Plymouth County Courthouse because that is where it was filed. Paul O'Keefe, the brother of John O'Keefe, and John's parents and John's niece are suing Karen Read for wrongful death. They're also suing the bars that served Karen Read, the C.F. McCarthy's and the Waterfall. Currently, right now, they are consolidating discovery with Karen Read's civil case against everybody. They're consolidating that to do the discovery. What that means is that instead of doing 2 separate cases where they go and depose witnesses and potentially get all the evidence and discovery materials. They're combining that currently right now to get all this information together, which would saves the court, saves them time, it saves them money. In this case, currently there is a motion to compel. A status hearing is set for the 6th of January. It is an in-person event. Remember all of those 10,000 plus texts that was retrieved or discovered off of Trooper Michael Proctor's cell phone? They are still in play in this case. They are definitely exculpatory evidence in this case. So all the parties involved in this should get this information. Karen Read's team sent a motion to compel to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. They came back and said, no way. What she's asking for is too broad. They were asking for everything, it sounds like. Norfolk District Attorney's Office said, no, we're not going to give that. So that still could be a point of contention that then needs to be addressed in the court on their hearing. There was a motion filed just recently that said that all of the parties stipulated to the protective order regarding information on Proctor's phone. Does that mean that the Norfolk District Attorney's Office is going to turn over everything to them? There was sort of a list of the who's who and the what. So are they complying with that, or are we going to still see them push back? That hasn't been quite answered, so maybe we'll get some answers on the 6th of January when they have this hearing. Again, stay tuned. I'll give you updates on that as we move forward. Karen Read's civil case against everybody. And when I say everybody, she calls these the House defendants. This is Jennifer McCabe. This is Matt McCabe. They are husband and wife. Jennifer McCabe's sister is Nicole Albert. Nicole Albert is married to Brian Albert. Remember that Officer John O'Keefe was found on these two Alberts' front lawn at 34 Fairview, and that Brian Higgins was there as well. These are the troopers that she is suing in their personal capacity: Trooper Michael Proctor, Trooper Yuri Buchanan, and Trooper Brian Tully. She is also suing the town of Canton and the Massachusetts State Police. But this has been moved to federal court. What does that mean? Karen Read had filed her civil lawsuit in Bristol County, which is where she is currently residing. The House defendants said, no way. They wanted to move it to federal court. It is currently pending in the federal court system. There is no dates or no hearings set thus far. There will be very shortly, as soon as January rolls around and the new court docket for the year is established. What does it mean if it goes to federal court? Well, it means that the House defendants' motion to move the case to federal court means that it probably won't be televised. Federal courts do not allow cameras in the courtroom. It is still open to the public, so that means that if you wanted to go to the hearings, you're able to go. So we'll see how that goes. The House defendants stated that they wanted to countersue Aidan Kearney and Karen Read for witness intimidation or some sort of a collusion. That so far has not come to fruition. If it's so, we will let you know. Moving on, Kouri Richins and Utah. Kouri Richins is accused of unaliving her husband, Eric Richins, by giving him a fentanyl overdose 5 times the legal limit. She stated that she and Eric had some cocktails one evening, and one was a Moscow Mule. The other one was some sort of a martini. I'm forgetting the name of it. And he drank them and ended up dying. She is also accused of giving him a fentanyl breakfast sandwich on February 14th. He had an allergic reaction, and luckily, He had an allergic reaction, and she asked for more fentanyl. So she is also being charged with financial crimes. She took her bank statement and overlaid it with his bank statement to prove or to show her bank that she had more funds than she actually did. She is a house flipper. She would buy houses, fix them up, and resell them. But she was in over her head. She had more inventory than she sold. So that might be one of the reasons why she is accused of unaliving her husband. So the defense moved to complete financial transparency from her late husband's estate, alleging that her sister-in-law may have paid witnesses involved in the case. That's one thing that the defense alleges. There was a pretrial conference hearing that was held on December 5th. If you go to my YouTube channel, Legalese123, and look in the under Kouririchins, you will see that I covered that pretrial hearing very extensively. I did a deep dive into that. What's up next for her? Her case is moving forward. There is a defense motion hearing to exclude state's witnesses on January 7th. That is an in-person hearing. Then there's one the next day. It is the state's motion to determine the admissibility of the walk the dog letter. That again is on January 8th. The walk the dog letter is a letter that Kouri Richins wrote in jail. She stated that it was attorney-client privilege, and she also stated that it was a book. Needless to say, the court found it, and they want to use it against her because in it she pretty much is telling her mother and her brother how to testify in her case. So they want to use it as evidence. The defense obviously wants it out. Jury selection is to begin sometime February 10th, question mark. They have sent out a voir dire to the Summit County residents, and when they get those back, the court as well as the parties are going to look that over to see whether or not they can get a jury who is unbiased. The trial is set for the 23rd of February. Will this happen? Again, the judge in this case was very leery. He feels that he will go ahead and be able to seat a jury in his county because Summit County is just outside of the major metropolitan area in Salt Lake in Utah. So they think that they can seat a jury. If not, they may have to open up the jury pool to the Salt Lake area. I don't think they're going to have a change of venue. They might ship those people in. We don't know. So that is up in the air, but the judge is very cognizant of making sure that Kouri Richins gets a fair trial and she gets jurors who are unbiased in her case. Stay tuned. We'll let you know more information about this case as it progresses. Next up, we have Aaron Spencer versus Arkansas. This case is a highly contested case. Aaron Spencer is being accused of unaliving Michael Fossler, who is a 67-year-old man. Michael Fossler has been having an inappropriate relationship with Spencer's daughter, who was 13 at the time. Spencer found out about the relationship back in, I want to say, June or July of 2024. He then confronted Michael Fossler because in the middle of the night, Aaron Spencer realized that his daughter was missing. He went looking for her. Fossler had her in his truck. Spencer rammed Fossler off the road, told Fossler to get out of the car. Fossler went to go grab something. Spencer unloaded his gun. All of these alleged events happened in October. Spencer is being charged with unaliving Fossler. This is headed for trial. Both the defense and the prosecution asked for more time for discovery. The judge denied that. So the 26th through the 30th is the trial date for Aaron Spencer in January. By the way, Aaron Spencer is running for sheriff in November of 2026. There was a pre-trial hearing on the 17th of December. There were no court cameras in the courtroom. It is only those able to go to the courtroom that we hear what transpired. Judge Elmer did rule that the cell tower and cell site evidence will be admitted. The motions to dismiss have been denied. There is missing camera footage. Does this sound familiar, like the Karen Read case? So Judge Elmore has a lot more things to rule on. We're waiting for things to come down to the docket before we go ahead and really report on that. I did do a deep dive on the pre-trial hearing on the 17th. If you go back into the show notes to Aaron Spencer, you'll hear more about what happens in that hearing. Again, I am waiting to hear on the docket exactly what Judge Elmore ruled and why her rulings were the way that they were. She's going to rule about the missing camera footage. Spencer's defense is that he was justified. Fosler's girlfriend may have known about the relationship to Spencer's daughter. How does that play into things? There's also some other things that are going to come out from the judge's ruling on the 17th hearing. But again, I'm waiting to report on that until it hits the docket. But go into the 17th pretrial hearing on my YouTube channel where I talk about those who have been in the courtroom and what has been reported. Again, we asked that the defense and prosecution asked for the case to be more time, but it had been denied. There's no cameras in the courtroom. There's no Zoom. So the only way we're going to get information is those who are in the courtroom and the court docket filings. So that is all that I have going on for the current cases that I'm following. If there's a case that you're interested in, please let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to investigate it and give you further updates and information regarding those cases. So thanks again for watching Legalese 123. Please like and subscribe if you want to hear more content. I'm trying to get up to 100 subscribers, so please let me know if you like the videos. We'll be seeing you again on the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Legalese 123. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content.